Hello, dear Rauta viewers, and welcome to Death Metal Review. This year has been wonderful for so many old death metal bands, and by no means it's no exception to this band called Monstrosity, which has been around from since 1990. So pretty much the same age as Archgoat, Chrysion, and so forth, which also released an album this year and this particular fall. Now, this is their sixth album, and after 11 years, now that's a long time for any band, but especially for this kind of old band, this old grand path death metal has released nice looking album. As you can see, pretty cool fourfold digipack what we have here. Pretty nice cover image and lyrics also. I tried to show it to you in the speed that you can basically pause and try to read some of the lyrics so you get the idea of what this album is all about. Well, of course, you will actually buy the album to read the lyrics and all that stuff, but at least you get a little bit of glimpse what's going on here. Underneath the actual CD, there's a cool, except a little dark photo, which makes very little sense to show here. But here, once again, is the cover image of this really nice looking digipack. I'm, of course, a digipack liker. I do like these babies more than average jewel case, so my version of choice. Now, those of you who are not familiar with Monstrosity in the first place, you should probably check out your basic 101 on death metal, because this band has been there for so many years and it's kind of one of those classic bands, even though maybe not the cornerstone of death metal. Now, some people might actually remember Monstrosity for being the home base of George Corpse Grinder Fisher, who later on joined Cannibal Corpse, and that's a different story, of course. But also, there had been major death metal men behind this band for so many years, but now it's basically the heritage, the legacy of the drummer man, who is the only original member of the band. Now, this has not stopped Monstrosity from making good albums, but 11 years raises a question that pause that are they still able to kick some butt? And the answer, bluntly spoken, is yes, they are. Now, Monstrosity's well, how hard this can be to pronounce for a Finnish person. Monstrosity's basic has always been kind of just not glitch, but kind of a balancing out between very traditional old school death metal as well as include some modern elements. And this is by no means a bad thing. Absolutely not, because I kind of like their way, how they are, having these dynamics where you have these hints of kind of a classic death metal in the early 90s or maybe even late 80s, but also with kind of a modern shades that just color the whole variation of riffs and all that in ways that it sounds monstrosity. Now, Passage of Existence is both a great album, but also with minor flaws. Now, I want to underline these are minor issues. One could say it's a little bit monotone, which it's kind of a fast-paced stuff, so there is not too much variation when it comes to the dynamics of the whole album. Now, it's not a big deal, to be honest, because what we expect from a typical death metal album, modern or whatnot, well, we expect sort of aggressiveness, some technicality, some kind of brutality, and lots of energy. And that is exactly what this album is actually dealing out. Now, this is not one of those most technical albums, not most brutal albums. Some would say this is somewhere in between, being kind of a sloppy and technical. There's some technical things, some nice ideas, which just are filled with details and give kind of a lots of food for your ear, if you get my metaphor. But then again, it's not too much, driven into that field where, just you're all just giving kind of like this overwhelming feeling with too much stuff happening all the time. So Monstrosity is actually balancing out pretty nicely. Everything from production to actual each instrument's playing are done nicely. And even vocals, while they are not surprising, they're kind of dealing out with, sort of a brutality, the kind of growling vocals, which are pretty safe for a death metal listener to like, but they are not they're not weak or, lame in any way. So well, I could say this without being too negative is that Monstrosity has actually done pretty safe and nice death metal album. To some people, it might be too nice, too safe, but then again, those who are all about liking kind of American death metal, the very traditional way with some ideas from the modern ways, I think they will be liking this album quite a lot. It's a really nice album. It's easy to kind of listen to. It's not too confusing, but just maybe a little bit more variation could have been there. But then again, these are all just matters of taste. But take my word for that. Good album, solid stuff here, and if you are doubtful, as you always should be, go check out some samples and decide for yourself. I think Monstrosity is back with really, really nice album, and that deserves, if anything, a listening experience. Thank you for watching / listening to Rautas Reviews. See you soon with more stuff coming your way. Cheers!